Jim Parker. I was wondering about when I first met him. It's kind of weird, kind of like, when do you meet that, that entity? Thank you, Jim. Appreciate it.
I first met Jim in 1989 at the Great American Beer Festival. There was this tradition where Bob Brewer from Anchor Brewing would always bring a quarter barrel of old foghorn barley wine and put it in his bathtub in his hotel room. So I met Jim Parker in the bathroom.
I believe it was probably at Oaks Bottom when he was running that place.
And Jim was behind the bar, and we ended up hanging out there all night, just getting to know him. And I was inspired by craft beer, not in the industry. It was really awesome just getting to know him and all of his knowledge, and he was so welcoming.
I met Jim Parker immediately. He gave me the name Chick Brewer, and he called me that until the last time I saw him.
The first time I met him really was a highlight, though, because I met this goofball guy who just was like, how much energy can one person have, So it's pretty cool.
He always wanted to make people smile.
And just one of the most true and genuinely, real people I've ever met.
Incredibly kind. I mean, he's a great guy to hang out with.
Jim Parker was like the Sam Malone of Cheers,
Jim's personality was infectious, and he was a cheerleader for everything beer.
100% honest and genuine, and you got, the first 5 minutes of knowing that guy, you knew exactly the kind of friendship you're going to have forever.
Every time I saw him, he had a new brewer to watch, a new beer that I had to drink, and a new brewery that I had to try.
So he's always out to have a good time. He loved being behind a bar. I think that's where he really came to light, was just serving people beer and talking about beer and things like that. So he was awful lot of fun. He's touched a lot of people.
What didn't he do in this scene? He just wanted to do every single thing. He had so many great ideas.
Yeah, the guy who actually wrote the book on brown ale.
He ran Oaks Bottom with Jerry Fector, and after he got bored with that, he moved into a place called the Green Dragon.
It was a great creation of community and events. I mean, I never heard of tap takeovers or meet the brewers before Jim Parker introduced him at the Green Dragon.
Yeah, I mean, the Green Dragon was one of the first bars that kind of came in and just declared that we're going to have all these taps and we're going to rotate them. And it made seem like a novel, how's that new in Portland, Oregon? But he really focused on really giving every brewery a chance.
I think that Jim Parker and Green Dragon helped keep Portland on the track as being, Beervana.
He wandered in here in late 2014, early 2015, looking for a part-time bartending gig.
Jim shows up to the interview in a full suit. I don't think I've ever seen Jim in a suit.
But I don't know, he must have seen something. I don't know, we're still trying to figure out why the hell he landed here. But my favorite thing about him, and he reminded me of this on a constant basis, is no matter how much we can nitpick about beer and nuance and flavors and trends and this and that, at the end of the day it all comes back to people, and beer is 100% about people, and I think Parker taught me that more than he'll ever know.
Because of the sheer number of people that Jim ushered into the industry, I think he'll have a living legacy through all of us.
If you have been in craft beer for any amount of time, you probably know Jim Parker.
Yeah, I mean, his impact cannot be measured in the industry.
Jim's taught us how to celebrate beer, really.
I think every second of every day is like a little, chapter in the Jim Parker storybook. I think he was just always 100% a friend, and I think, to everybody that knew him.
Without Jim Parker being at the right place at the right time and teaching me how to brew, I wouldn't be standing here today.
Lasting thoughts. Hot scotchies.
3 orange whips. And if you know, you know.
He definitely deserves his spot in the Oregon Beer Hall of Fame.
You'll always remember Parker. He was 100% in the industry.
That's Jim.
I appreciate your time, and I'd like to introduce Jim Parker. Anybody who knows me, and I do see a lot of familiar and friendly faces, it's good to be among such august company. My very first fermentation, I'm a third generation native Oregonian. My original foray into fermentation was in 6th grade. when I took some Welch's grape juice, some Fleischmann's yeast, and I heard in 6th grade chemistry or biology or science, whatever we were studying, about fermentation, and I thought that was really great. So my mother didn't help, although she did hear about it when my 6th grade basketball coach called to ask why I had brought a mason jar full of wine to my team that day to celebrate a victory. And if you'll excuse me, I'm going to open one myself. And if you guys haven't opened any, I think I would highly recommend it, because I'd like to really start my part with a toast. Be proud to be in Oregon, where we make some of the best beer in the country and in the world. And that's that.